Diamansi Kamara, who was the representative to Nicholas Jackson, has fired back at Uli Hoeneß via Instagram. What is going on at Bayern Munich? Is there some power play ongoing there and no one is noticing it or taking cognizance of it? The season has just begun and the player himself, Nicholas Jackson, has not even kicked the ball yet and everything is going up. What is happening? Diamasi Kamara has fired back at Uli Hoeneß. Look, there's so much to unpack and I think we should just jump right straight into it. So this is what Diamasi Kamara said through Instagram in response to what Uli Hoeneß said about Nicholas Jackson. Many talk but few tell the truth. That's not the topic today. Our only priority is Senegal's decisive match for World Cup qualification. This is a crucial moment for the entire nation. Our path, our ethics and our ways of working are known. First as footballers and today as advisors to African players. It is time for sacred union. The rest will be dealt with in due time. End of story. You see, I just feel like this is only going to put Nicholas Jackson in a very uncomfortable and tight situation. I don't know what the ball at play is here, but at some point it's gonna start to rub off on Nicholas Jackson, and it's gonna start to feel like certain people don't want him around in Bayern Munich. I don't want to say that Uli Hoeneß doesn't want Nicholas Jackson in Bayern Munich, and it just doesn't make any sense for me. Okay, that's just it. I do not understand the reason why a prestigious or someone as important as Uli Hoeneß will go on live TV or on such interview to say something or make statements like he made with regards to his player who has just only arrived at Bayern Munich and has not even kicked the ball yet. And then the player's representative also fired back. I just feel like if there is a need for both parties to communicate, I think it should be done behind closed doors and not this social media thing. And it's just not me. It is looking unprofessional and it doesn't look like it's doing any favor to Nicholas Jackson. If the agent or the representative needed to say something or had something to say, he should have just gone and scheduled a meeting with the board members and clarify whatever needs clarifications on. This style or ways of firing back at in the end, Bayern Munich are in the winning seat. They are not the loser. The only person who's actually going to end up losing is Nicholas Jackson, because first off, Nicholas Jackson's and the agency paid 3 million euros from their pocket, okay, which is different from what Bayern Munich also paid. Bayern Munich apparently paid 13.5 million euros. In the end, Chelsea gets the money that they requested for, and they still got a long contract with Chelsea. His salary is also going to be covered by Bayern Munich. So it's a win-win thing for Chelsea. It's a win-win thing for Bayern Munich, because if we, like I explained in my previous video, if you look at it very well, it is impossible as long as Harry Kane is fit and firing. There is no way Nicholas Jackson is going to start 40 games. You could get a chance to start some games, but my best bet is that Nicholas Jackson doesn't start 40 games. Harry Kane is always going to get the starting nod ahead of Nicholas Jackson. Gone are the days where most top teams want to play double striker and use two strikers at the same time. It's no longer the case. So I feel like the representative of Nicholas Jackson is doing Nicholas Jackson a huge disservice and not a good fit, not a good one at all going down this road. Let me know what you guys think about what I've said as regards the representative of Nicholas Jackson firing back at Uli Hoeneß, and if you think that his style is what's best for his player or not. Now on to the next. According to Lucas Musetti, BlueCo is one of the interested parties in Santos FC. In July, there was a meeting between members of the group, such as Bedak Egbali and the president of Santos. At the moment, it's just conversations. You see, at first I wasn't so excited or happy about Chelsea having sister clubs and all that, about this multi-club network thing. But over time, I've come to realize that it's been of immense help to Chelsea, because now if Chelsea end up with Strasbourg, we've been able to work with Chelsea has been able to work with Strasbourg immensely, and it is now starting to bear fruit. Now, having a club as big as Santos in the North American continent, I think it gives Chelsea first hand option to get the very best of the talent in Santos and in Brazil as a whole. But one thing I am skeptical about is that if Chelsea ends up getting Santos, how is this going to play out? Players in Brazil want to come to England and want to come to Europe. Would players from Europe be willing to go to Brazil for loan or on loan, or would they want to leave Europe to go settle in Brazil? I don't know how that's going to play out, but it's going to be very nice if Chelsea ends up getting Santos. I mean, coming from with Santos have been able to produce players like Pele, Neymar, Rodrigo, Pepe, Coutinho, and the likes. These are not small players. These are players that came from Santos, and we know Santos to be one club that are very good at scouting good players and all that. So having Santos as part of the multi-club network is going to do Chelsea a whole lot of good. What do you guys think? Do you think Chelsea should get Santos, like have Santos as part of the multi-club network, or you think Chelsea shouldn't bother moving to the Brazilian side of it? Let's move on to the next one, which is Disasi. No, let's not talk about Disasi. Let's talk about what the Athletic has posted yesterday. Actually, hold on. Okay, before we move on to what the Athletic post, let's talk about two of our legends being inducted or included into the nominated for inclusion into the Premier League Hall of Fame. And we're talking about Eden Hazard and Fabregas. This is good to sting Arsenal, because I don't think Fabregas would be included or nominated if he never played for Chelsea. I mean, being at Arsenal, he only won the Community Shield and the FA Cup. And when he ended up at Chelsea, the rest is history. And these are players. I'm so glad, because I watched these people play. Okay, these are the last of the generation of Ronaldinho, Iniesta, Xavi, and the likes. These people are the players who you would be so happy to go and watch play on every given day. You would be happy to part away with your money just to watch them play. And I'm so glad that Hazard was once a Chelsea and Fabregas was once a Chelsea. I mean, it's just so beautiful. Like, I'm so happy that they actually been nominated for inclusion into the Premier League Hall of Fame. I mean, I don't think Fabregas would actually even be thought of in this instance or in this area if he never came to Chelsea. And we could see what he did when he played for Chelsea. I mean, Diego Costa. I mean, Fabregas also came out in one of the videos and said it was on the bench. Conte benched him, placed him on the bench, and they needed to win a game. And Costa came out to him, yelling at him, put Fabregas on," and Fabregas. And Fabregas, Costa is a crazy person on his own. But when he came yelling at Conte, and after a while, Conte agreed and allowed Fabregas onto the pitch, and it didn't take long before Chelsea won the game. So whenever Fabregas was with the ball, he just knew that something was going to happen. Costa started running, and we could. So if we can talk about Fabregas, then imagine how much mayhem and chaos Hazard brought to the league. Hazard had the Premier League on chokehold for years. He had the Premier League on standstill for years. That was just how good Hazard was. It hurt to see him go to Real Madrid and not to achieve his dream. He thought he was going to be a Ballon d'Or winner if he going to Real Madrid, but it never came to be. But then it was still so beautiful watching Hazard play for Chelsea. What do you guys think about that? Let me know what you guys think about that. So on to the next, The Athletic. The Athletic has posted earlier on that Chelsea will be reluctant to block the pathway of Mamadou Sarr on loan at Strasbourg and Aaron Anselmino on loan at Borussia Dortmund. It is more likely one of them will be recalled rather than a new addition to be added. This is after Enzo Maresca, I think, also notified the board members that he needed reinforcement at the back, and he also needs senior figures going forward. Okay, so I think that Mamadou Sarr and Aaron Anselmino, who would I have at Chelsea at the moment? Okay, when it comes to, I think, being a defender, it doesn't also boil down to the height as a whole, but having the height to be a centre back is an added plus, because we have defenders who are not as tall as Van Dijk and the other players, and they did exceptionally well. So I know size is very tall, but I don't think Aaron Anselmino is as tall as Sarr. But when you look at both of them, you think that, both of them are so brilliant. When the way they play and the way they play from the back. I watched Aaron Anselmino in his debut game for Dortmund, and that kid is going to be worth everything. It's going to be worth the wait. And now it just looks like by the time the season is over, who's going to leave? I am going to say at this point that, as much as I hate it, I think it's going to be Chalobah and Fofana heading out the door at the end of the summer because of Mamadou Sarr and Aaron and Salmino. They might want to integrate both of them into the squad as soon as possible at the end of the season. But I would think that we should give them one more season at the Champions League club or maybe at the Premier League club for one more season and before introducing them or bringing them into the squad. But Anselmino looks like someone who's ready to play already, and the same goes for Mamadou Sarr. I like Mamadou Sarr, but I think I like. I'm not gonna lie. I like Anselmino better because of the way he carries the ball and the way he looks more aggressive. It looks like it looks like a player that is gonna stay stuck on you, like he's gonna stay glued on the opponent. That's what I've noticed in the first in his debut for Dortmund. Anyway, let me know what you guys think about that, okay? Because it looks like Chelsea don't want to go into the market because they don't want to block the pathway for the aforementioned players. Okay, so the moving on. It was also said that Enzo Maresca knew that his say in the transfer market for Chelsea would be limited and that his main task was just to concentrate on coaching the team. This one, yeah, I think at some point something has to give because Enzo Maresca doesn't just want to be a coach that ends up building players. I think at some point he sits down and evaluates himself or have a reflection on how much he has done and ask himself if he deserves better than what is being afforded to him. He wants, at some point, he's going to want to be a winner. And that being said, he's going to have to demand that it's either they give him what he wants or they let him go. And it looks like we will be making a mistake if we end up losing Enzo Maresca. And this is me who wasn't so impressed with the signing of Enzo Maresca in the first place. But if we end up losing Maresca after all he has built or after all he has done with what was given to him, I don't think that it's going to tell well on the Chelsea board members at all. If we end up losing a coach or a manager like Enzo Maresca, in the end, every manager wants to win. Every manager wants to taste silverwares, not just the domestic cups like the FA Cup and the Carabao Cup. Major honors like the Champions League and the Premier League, just like they've won, like he's tasted the Club World Cup. He would also want to challenge for the title, and we cannot afford to keep giving him, or he knows that it's going to be very difficult to achieve the goal of winning the Premier League or the Champions League with players that are not ready for the challenge. So I think that something has to give. You don't just hire a manager and expect him to give up his dream of wanting to be a winner at some point and just have him just work with players that you give to him. He will want to win at some point. I think he's starting to let out a few frustrations, but is controlling it. At some point, he's going to let it all. It's going to be, it's going to be fireworks. Remember how Conte was being interviewed and he just kept on fuming, and the same thing happened at the back end of Pochettino. Okay, when Pochettino was about leaving, he didn't give any, he didn't care about anything that was going to happen afterwards. He just kept on talking and let everything out. Okay, at some point I think it's going to happen where it's either Chelsea recognize the fact that he also wants to be a winner, he also wants to challenge, and then have to provide him with what he needs, the tools that he needs to win, or he walks. And I hope that Chelsea would actually provide him what he wants than allowing him work, because I don't think there are many other good coaches out there like him. The man looks like someone who's got a lot, and we've not seen enough yet. Let me know what you guys think about that, whether it's right that Maresca's say in the transfer window or in transfers is limited or not. So let's quickly talk about what has been said about Rhys James, a player. Some of these attackers have talked about one of the toughest players that they've come up against. Rafael Leao has confirmed that Rhys James is the toughest opponent that he has ever faced. Vinicius has also did the same thing, confirming that Rhys James is the toughest opponent that is also come up against. And a few of them has also did the same thing. Now, another player has just recently done the same thing, and this is Kvaratskhelia of PSG. He said that on his toughest opponent, I used to say Trent, but that was before he went up against Rhys James. He is so calm and composed that it leaves you unsure of what to do against him. And I've always noticed the coldness in Rhys James. Me watching Rhys James, and I'm so glad he plays for Chelsea. Me watching Rhys James, you can hardly tell what he has what he has up his sleeve. He's so unreadable, he's so unpredictable. It's just so calm. It kind of puts you off. And I can only imagine trying to put myself in the place of Kvaratskhelia when he when he says something like that. And for all the other clubs who think that Trent Alexander-Arnold is better than Trent, I hope you guys are listening to top players saying or coming out to say that Rhys James is a more complete package than Trent Alexander-Arnold, because even old players have started coming. See, it's one thing that injury has actually reduced Rhys James' playing time on the field of play, but when Rhys James is fit, there is no right back that is better than Rhys James. Not even Hakimi. I dare say it, that not even Hakimi is better than Rhys James. Rhys James is a complete package. So let you guys put a pin on that and hold on to it, that we have the best right back in the world in Chelsea. Okay, so yeah, we've seen videos, we've seen pictures of Romeo Lavia back in training. We're seeing Fofana also back in training. And listen, I want to say this: if Romeo Lavia is not 100%, I don't think there's any need to rush him. There is no need to rush him, and the same for Fofana. Please leave them be and let them keep training and working on their fitness level till they are 100% fit, and we know that it's safe enough to play them, because it's not going to tell well to have Romeo Lavia back in the squad and then he plays 45 minutes and then he goes missing. And the same is for Fofana. The same way we've tried to manage Rhys James is the same way I believe we should manage Romeo Lavia and Fofana, because these players were bought with the hope that they were going to be the backbone of the team, but they've been more in the sick bed than on the pitch, and it is becoming ridiculous. Another post I saw was it Bobby Vincent or Miguel Delaney? Someone made a post that Manchester United are looking at making an offer for Romeo Lavia. Well, if you want Romeo Lavia, you're going to have to pay £700 million. And that's even to consider your offer. because Romeo Lavia, as much as injured as he gets and as sidelined, even though he is sick or in the sick bed more often than not, we're not ready to sell Romeo Lavia. There is so much. There is so the amount of talent that Romeo Lavia has is yet to be unearthed, is yet to be uncovered yet. I dare say he's going to be better than Rodri. So selling Romeo Lavia now is not even in the conversation. I don't think, and I don't want to believe that the sporting directors would consider selling Romeo Lavia. So let's wrap up with okay, we have two more to talk about. Axel Disasi. Okay, so this is what Axel Disasi, according to Nisa Kinsella, wants to prove himself and get back into Enzo Maresca's thinking, albeit from a separate building for now, as he expected to be in the bomb squad. Disasi has declared himself available if called upon. I think this is a very good mentality. Only one person has shown that, and that's Trevor Chalobah. Nicholas Jackson, the moment he saw competition, he decided to jump ship. Anyway, but I do not know if this is going to be possible for Axel Disasi. The reason is his playing style doesn't suit Chelsea. One, then he looks like a player who just wants to be a natural centre back, and he gets caught out every now and then. A few games he's played for Chelsea, and he ends up keeping the opponent on side, and that's because he gets carried away. So I don't think that he's going to. I don't think if it happens that he gets called upon, well, that's good for him, lucky him. But I don't think that there's a chance for him to get back into Enzo Maresca's thinking. Rather, I think they would rather, like it was said initially, that they would rather recall Ansomino or Mamadou Sarr. Now let's wrap up. To wrap up, it's breaking. Fabrizio Romano posted that Nuno Espirito Santos and Nottingham Forest part ways with immediate effect. Decision made after tension between the parties in recent weeks. It's over for Nuno at Nottingham Forest, according to Record Portugal. 3 candidates are mentioned. Postecoglou, who was a former coach for Tottenham, Mourinho, and one other coach. What's his name again? I've forgotten his name. Anyway, I think that for me, Mourinho would have been the best bet. But if Mourinho, I love Mourinho to death, okay? But if Mourinho ends up becoming Nottingham Forest coach, there's going to be a problem in the Premier League. And Mourinho is chaos on his own. He brings chaos and everything. It brings it's Amazon movie. He brings it to the Premier League. But then I don't want Mourinho being Chelsea's opponent. Okay, so yeah, I think that I would like Postecoglou to be the new coach for Nottingham Forest, and that's because it's gonna play well into Chelsea's hand. Okay, it's gonna play into Chelsea's hands with Postecoglou being the coach and all that. So let me know about everything let me know what you guys think about everything that has been talked about, right from Diamansi Kamara onto Chelsea wanting Santos as part of BlueCo network, and every other thing that I've talked about. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment where necessary, as I would love to hear from you. If there are any other news that needs to be talked about, I'll do well to bring to your notice. Until then, it's Chelsea first and rivals next. Peace.